I was hoping he wasn't going to come say like something's wrong with.
That's what I was worried about.
That big tire doesn't get stuck in the gap. Hey, no oil leak from his thing parked in there. Well, yeah, that thing. Okay. That thing leaks on freaking everything.
Now there's a little bit of transmission. Alright guys, welcome back to another video here. We are talking about the PROMOD. We're fresh off of making its debut at the track. A lot of mixed opinions on it. Some people are like clueless to what the hell is going on because this is a very old school setup as it sits right now. Unique. We've never had anything like this on the channel. If you look at the channel kind of from a outside looking in, we got a lot of cars, but they're very similar in a lot of aspects. A lot of them have 2-speed 400s or power glides, air shifted, Holley Dominator, 9-inch rear end. You know, they might change a little bit between a big block, small block 481X, but other than that, they're all kind of similar with the same gist of things. EFI, MSD 600, coil unplugged. And then we get this thing here, and it is just unlike anything else we've ever had. Mechanical injection, Linko transmission with a Bruno drive. So for a lot of people, they don't quite understand what is going on. So I'm going to try to give you guys a quick breakdown. I am no expert by any means on this stuff. We're learning it. That's why we went out there and went as slow as we did. But before we get started in today's video, see that Trailblazer sitting over there? We're doing a giveaway on it. So you guys can go to lsnasty.com. It's the first link in the description below. 650 horsepower, nitrous-fed Trailblazer. It could be sitting in your driveway. Every dollar you spend is an entry to win. We got some PROMOD Nasty merchandise up there, LS Nasty merchandise, small block Ford Nasty merchandise, big block Nasty merchandise. We got socks, which I'm wearing. I literally went there and broke out a fresh pair today. Hold on, let me get them. These socks right here, LS Nasty socks, the most comfortable socks out there. We got some new hats up there. We got a bunch of brand new badass merchandise, and every dollar you spend is an entry to win. We have swag boxes up there, which are double entry the whole time. So I think they're like $40, $45. You get 2 entries per dollar you spend on that item. Everything else, every dollar you spend is an entry to win. This is like the 5th or 6th or 7th or 4th or I don't know. I've given away a few different hot rods. This thing right there is my first vehicle I've given away with beadlocks on it. First vehicle I'm giving away with leather heated seats. It's badass. It could be yours in your driveway. lsnasty.com. You can't win it if you're not entered. So go down there, shop around, check out some merchandise, get entered to win. All right, so took this out to Stunnerville, Fayetteville Motorsports Park to shake it down. The whole objective was just to make sure that it runs, drives, stops, shifts gears. So for us, it was a great success. Blown Hemi on M5, gnarly. Sounds gnarly. Gnarly burnouts. It's on big tires. It's crazy. I had a lot of people comment up there, even in the video of us just going through the gears here in the parking lot. It's got some weird things that go on. So David, you hop in that side. I'll hop in this side. We'll talk to you real quick about the transmission and what all we got going on. So let me hop in here. It's quite uncomfortable to sit on. Alright, so let's talk about the transmission. If you guys watch the video closely, some of you guys that are been doing drag racing for a while, that are familiar about this stuff, you guys will know what's going on. Linko CS2 transmission, Bruno converter drive, so it does have a torque converter. After the torque converter, it's pretty much a manual transmission. So when it's sitting right here, this is the neutral configuration. This would be, of course you gotta like rock it to free it up. This would be forward, which in this configuration is first gear, and then that is your reverse. So as you can see, just right there, just getting it to go into gears without moving, it's very challenging. So you could be in reverse first, second, or third. So right now it's set up with the AirPods. So it's air shifted transmission, but this activates the AirPod to shift it. So when we were in the parking lot And we're like, hey, we're going to try it out. Obviously, we thought forward was forward. Well, come to find out, if you look at the linkage, it's reverse. When it's running, you have to hold the trans brake to stop the drive in the transmission. You can't have load on the gears because they're straight cut gears. You cram it in gear, you're off to the races. It's not good for it. So you'll hear when I fire the car up, I click this button here. This is your trans brake button, and everything's done by air, so you hear it make some crazy loud noises.
Yeah.
I guess. It's got a regulator right here. You pull it out, you turn it, change how much pressure you have going through the system. When we first got in here and opened the bottle, it had 12 PSI on the system. Not enough. So when we put it in reverse, it pretty much it had just enough pressure to get it in reverse, but not enough pressure to apply the trans brake to get it out of reverse. So it goes in reverse. This car hasn't driven. The brakes haven't been used in, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years. So I put my foot to the floor on the brakes. It's not really stopping it. Everyone in the comments is like, dude, you idiot, just push the trans brake and get it to stop. Well, you push the trans brake, 12 PSI is not enough to actually activate the trans brake. You can't pull it out of gear because it's in gear and the trans brake has to release the pressure. So you're just along for the ride. You pull the lean out, well, it's idling, mechanical injection, it's just dumping fuel all the time. Anytime the engine is running, it's putting fuel in the cylinders. It's not like EFI where it triggers the injector. It's anytime it's running and there's fuel pressure, it's just got a little nitrous jet or a fuel jet in there, and it's pumping fuel into the cylinder. So as it's loading up, that blower is full of fuel. When you lean it out, it's gonna idle a little bit until it uses all the fuel. It wouldn't stop. So everyone's like, oh, if you're scared, get out of that thing, you don't know what you're doing. No, we do know what we're doing. It was like worst case scenario because the trans brake didn't work, so you couldn't get it out of gear once it was in gear.
It probably takes, what, 10 to 15 seconds for it to run itself out?
At idle, yeah. On the big end, when it's actually burning the fuel and it's not sitting there all fat, when you pull the lean out, it shuts off in maybe 5 seconds. And we talked about it in the last video. The reason why you can't shut it off is because the mechanical injection is just dumping fuel. This is like man shit right here. This isn't HOLLEY EFI where you got all these creature comforts where you can shut stuff off. There's not a gauge in here. There's 2 switches and a button and some levers. That's how you operate this thing. So we took it out to the track. We figured out how much pressure to put on there. It worked great. You know, you hold the trans brake, you go and you put it in gear. You just need to, look at that. All it needs to do is be freed up. When it's running, obviously, you don't have to sit in here and hump it, but you hold the trans brake and you're good. So this is first gear. So you'll see when I go to do my burnout in yesterday's video, you pull them down. It's got a little bit of air left in the system. That's third gear. So you're going to do your burnout in third gear. In my 400 stuff, the only reason why I don't do this is because I have a turbo car and it doesn't have the torque that this thing has. So if I were to do it in just high gear, I'd have to lay on the throttle a whole lot more. Being a blower car, like, you breathe on the gas, it breaks tires free. So you want to do your burnout in your high gear, get some wheel speed, especially on these big tires. Like, you need as much as you can. Now the first burnout that we did, we had a throttle stop in there and it only gave me 25% throttle the entire pass. We're out there trying to shake it down, just make sure that the car runs and drives, and if anything happens, you know, we're going as slow as we can. You don't want to be going 200 miles an hour and you find out there's something wrong. So went down track, everything was good, and really had no issues.
That's what I was going for.
Oh, that's the noises?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the AirPods. That's literally, it's going through different gears. And it makes that same noise on the trans brake. Trans brake obviously has to have voltage to run, so with a dead battery, it's not going to run. So yeah, I saw some people comment and had some questions about what this was going on with the shifter stuff. I'm no expert. Did 3 burnouts and 2 passes, but I have a good understanding of the concept, so I think I grasp it. Doesn't mean it's any less terrifying when you're sitting here in the parking lot with the door off in a t-shirt and it won't stop, and you have a blown alcohol Hemi at idle pushing through the brakes. Yeah, I'm gonna freak out because that's not good. not trying to tear shit up here, but again, you couldn't stop when you didn't have any pressure on the trans brake. So for all you fools out there that didn't listen, you got to listen to what I'm saying. I try to give you all the information you guys need to understand, but if you don't listen, it doesn't matter. So that's what was going on in the transmission. That was going on making passes, having to pull gears. Obviously, in a competitive racing format, this is not going to be the most consistent, but it is the most badass. I mean, this is as man as it gets, just going through pulling gears. So we're going to plan to run this transmission. We're going to plan to run this shifter, but we're probably going to have a provision where we have some MAC valves that do it for you. Now, if you wanted to shift early, you could grab it and shift it early, but the Holley would control it. So now that you guys know the general concept of what's going on here with the transmission, let's go talk about the motor. Hemi Keith Black block, 570 cubic inches with a Littlefield blower on there. This car had a different blower on it at one point in time when it ran competitive PROMOD stuff. This blower here is not the blower you run when you're running competitive PROMOD stuff. The way it's pulleyed right now, we did all the calculations, it should make about 20 pounds of boost. That's it. 20 pounds. Like those big screw blowers and everything, they're making like 65 pounds of boost. 60 pounds of boost. So this thing right here is not a grown man. It is a little boy, which is fine. Again, we're just trying to make sure the car runs and drives and does everything good. Now, when they switched the blower, they didn't switch the fuel jets. So again, we're talking about the mechanical injection. Anytime that fuel pump's going, if you look at the lines, you got the fuel pump right here, and then it comes up into your barrel valve, and it's going right back here to a block on top of the hat, which is your, I mean, all of this fuel is pretty much just to keep the blower cool and lubricated. This is just all going in the blower hat pre-blower. And then if you look down here, you have more jets that are on the bottom side of the blower. So these combined get your fuel tune-up. So for any of you guys that are familiar with this stuff out here, we got 51 jets up top. And what do we have down bottom? I just saw it the other day.
It's like 54.
Is it that much?
I think.
47s.
Oh, nope.
So we got 47s down bottom, 51s up top. This was the fuel tune-up for the old blower, the one that was making 65 pounds of boost. This is not the correct fuel tune-up for this thing. This is about twice as much fuel as it needs. So just like anything, if you get your air fuel tune-up right, you're going to make more power. If it's fat, it's not going to run good. It's not going to make a whole lot of power. This thing needs 40s up top and 32s down bottom, just to show you how far off we are. Which is fine, because we ran it, just milked the oil. We didn't hurt anything. We're not making any power at all. Like this thing's making like 1,000 horsepower, maybe. Now, when you get it right with the right blower on there, this thing will make like 3,000. But as of right now, it was not right. So for everyone that's like, man, you guys are the world's slowest PROMOD, relax. Relax. We weren't going out there to set any records. A car that sat around for 6 years, we wanted to make sure it ran and drive. We did a few little minor updates to it. But now that we know everything is working right, you know, we'll get the right blower pulley combination on there. We'll get the right fuel tune-up in there. We'll get, I really think my end goal with it would be to get rid of the ProMag and go to MSD 600. Leave it mechanical injection because it's badass. It's like some man shit. And then run the transmission control through the Holley, run the spark through the Holley, have some data on there, rear shock travel, a G meter, run all the electronics really through the Holley, and have it on small tires. I think that's the goal with it. So the ProMod stuff on big tires, I think it's cool, but this thing on small tires would be way more badass. So what is going to be going up for sale, these front tires and front strut will be going up for sale. Weld Magnums, tread's looking pretty good on them. This ProMag, I have two ProMags. I got an MSD points box, I got an MSD grid, I got the, what's that, Mag 44.
There's two of those. A
bunch of electronics. If this is your deal, your combination, then that's perfect for you. And then the rear end with the wheels and tires. So I don't know what size, these tires are Wumbo is their size.
Patrick, I don't think Wumbo is a real word.
Come on, you know. I Wumbo, you Wumbo, he, she, me, Wumbo. Wumboing.
I wonder if a fall from this height would be enough to kill me.
Wumbology? The study of Wumbo? It's first grade, SpongeBob.
They got
34 and a half.
Are they 34 and a half?
17 by 16.
They're massive. So 16-inch rims, double beadlock welds. These are like the badass weld magnums with the gold centers. I know these are like to die for. And then it is a Mark Williams 11-inch rear end with the oil pump on there and the wheelie bars. So we're gonna get it set to run radials. We're gonna leave the stuff that we like. We're gonna get rid of the stuff that we don't need. The rear end, overkill for us. We need a 9-inch with a 10-inch ring gear. That's all we need. This is, Slick Rick will probably be faster than this. I would say very much so. But this is badass. And if we run if there's a come to win 28s and we can go out there and win with this thing and have fun and be competitive and have the blower and just look cool and have PROMOD nasty on the door, that's what we're gonna do. So I guess there's your answer. Everyone's like, man, why is the PROMOD so slow? Well, it's meant to be slow as it sits. It's not meant to be fast. It was, you gotta walk before you could run. You gotta make sure it drives before you can go out there and go 200 miles an hour. So we went out and we did that. As far as checking off the boxes that we need to, we wanted to go there, fire it up, not really have any issues. And if a little oil leak with a Hemi is your only issue, I'd say you're doing pretty good. Make sure the transmission works. That does. Matt did some rewiring on it with the trans brake and the kill switch. That stuff worked, which is great. Go out there, do a burnout, back up, stop, put it in the beams, leave out the trans brake. We did it all. So very happy, very successful first outing with the PROMOD. Comment down below what you guys think. We still need a name for it. So I don't know what to name it. The red Mustang up there got named yesterday. That is the Red Lobster. So just soak it in. David, you guys saw his car, also an SN95. It is the Rock Lobster. So we got the Rock Lobster and the Red Lobster. And now this thing needs a name. I don't know if I want to go with something that just says death because...
Coffin.
No coffin.
No?
I got my little nervous cough, right? Where I'm like in the car. It's my nervous cough. I do it every time I race. It's just my thing.
I think coffin is great.
All the boys around here said we need to name it the Coffin, but they spelled it cough like cough. Not like a coffin that you die in. So, I don't know, you guys all suck. But it was a great first outing. I think it's going to make some absolutely amazing content. Whether it makes 1,000 horsepower, 500 horsepower, or 5,000 horsepower.
It sounds like it's making 5,000.
It sounds so badass, and no matter where anyone is on property, when it fires up and does a burnout, everyone stops what they're doing and walks over to the fence. And we do this racing stuff to have fun. You guys have to understand, this is our hobby. It might be my job, but all my buddies, it's their hobby. We go out here to have fun, have a good time, race, be competitive. We can win a little bit. That's great. This is a lot of fun. It's fun to go out there. It's a crazy conversation piece. It looks wild. It takes crazy pictures. It sounds crazy. This thing is absolutely badass. We're super thankful to have the opportunity to have something like this. And you guys are going to be seeing a lot more of this. Some minor upgrades. Everyone's like, oh, every time you guys get a car, you tear it down and do all this stuff. We're going to upgrade it tastefully. We're going to leave all the good stuff in there. I mean, when it comes to changing a rear end, that bolts right in. When it comes to changing wheels and tires and front strut, that bolts right in. When it comes to putting a Holley on there, that's like a day or two worth of work. We're leaving the mechanical injection, we're leaving the transmission, and we're going to go out here and have some fun. So I want to thank all you guys for supporting the channel, supporting the PROMOD videos, supporting all the cars we got. I want to thank you guys for going to lsnatch.com and buying some merchandise, because someone's going to win a badass Trailblazer. And I want to thank you guys for subscribing to the video. So if you haven't already, go down, click that bell, click that subscribe button. Be on the lookout for a lot more racing content. We're taking the Black Sheep out to Woodstock this weekend, and the Red Lobster's going out there as well. We're going to be on property. Probably won't have merchandise. We're crazy with the online sales right now, so I'm not even going to mess up the guys that are doing all that stuff and taking inventory out. So if you guys want some shirts, go to lsnatch.com, get entered to win, and we will see you guys in tomorrow's upload.